Hello, health champions. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there, or struggled to recall a name just moments after hearing it? For many of us, these things are part of normal aging, but sometimes they are the early whispers of something more serious. Today, we're going to talk about dementia, what it is, how it works, and most importantly, how to spot the signs early, when it's still possible to take meaningful action. Because the human brain is powerful, but also fragile, and once dementia has progressed past a certain point, even the strongest brain may not come back. But the good news is, there's a window of time where we can intervene, and that window opens much earlier than most people think. Let's begin. Part 1. What is dementia? Really? Dementia isn't just forgetfulness. It's a decline in the brain's ability to think, remember, solve problems, and manage daily life. Over time, it steals away personality, independence, and connection. But dementia is not a single disease. It's a category. The most common type is Alzheimer's disease, where sticky plaques called amyloid and tangles of tau protein build up in the brain, disrupting communication between cells. Other types include vascular dementia, from small silent strokes, Lewy body dementia, involving abnormal protein clusters, frontotemporal dementia, affecting behavior and language. Though the biology differs, the outcome is similar, a gradual loss of mental clarity, memory, reasoning, and in time, the self. But here's what matters most. By the time most people are diagnosed, the brain has already suffered years of silent damage. That's why today isn't just about understanding dementia. It's about catching it before it becomes irreversible. Part 2. The 7 stages of cognitive decline. Understanding dementia begins with understanding how it unfolds. It doesn't happen all at once. It develops over time, step by step, inch by inch. That's why doctors and researchers use something called the 7 stages of dementia to help track and explain the progression. Each stage represents a different phase in the journey from full mental clarity to profound loss of cognitive function. Knowing these stages can help you recognize where someone might be, and more importantly, when it's time to seek help. Let's walk through each stage together. Stage 1. No cognitive decline, normal function. At this stage, a person shows no signs of cognitive impairment. Their memory, reasoning, behavior, and communication are all intact. There are no complaints, no concerns. Life feels normal. Most of us begin here, but it's also at this stage that silent damage may begin, especially if there are underlying risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, or poor sleep. Even though everything seems fine on the outside, microscopic changes in the brain may already be happening.
That's why prevention starts now. Diet, exercise, and mental engagement are not just buzzwords. They're tools for brain protection. Stage 2. Very mild cognitive decline, forgetfulness. This is the phase where people might start forgetting small things. Where they left their keys. A word that's just on the tip of the tongue. The name of an acquaintance. These moments are easy to dismiss. We call it senior moments or say, I'm just having a forgetful day. And that might be true. These could still be normal aging. But if these slip-ups become frequent, or if close friends or family begin to notice them, this may be the beginning of something more serious. The person can still function well, and in many cases, they're the only one who's aware that something is changing. This is a powerful moment for intervention. Stage 3. Mild cognitive decline, early stage dementia. Here, the symptoms begin to interfere with everyday life. A person might forget appointments more often, struggle to find the right word during conversations, have trouble managing finances or following complex tasks. Loved ones may notice changes. The individual may become frustrated, anxious, or withdrawn. They might begin using strategies to compensate, like making lists or avoiding conversations where they might struggle. But, and this is key, they're still aware of their difficulties. That awareness is critical, Because at this stage, lifestyle changes, medical checkups, and cognitive support can still make a huge difference. Stage 4. Moderate cognitive decline, early stage Alzheimer's. Now we're entering the zone where a doctor might make a formal diagnosis of dementia. Memory loss becomes more noticeable. The person may forget recent events or personal history. They might struggle with simple math. Planning trips, paying bills, or cooking a meal becomes more challenging. Often, there's emotional fallout too, irritability, depression, confusion. The brain is working harder than ever to compensate, and the strain begins to show. Support from family becomes essential here. And again, while full reversal may not be possible, slowing the decline is still achievable. Stage 5. Moderately severe cognitive decline, mid-stage dementia. Now the losses become more profound. The person may forget their address or phone number, confuse the day, season, or year, need help choosing appropriate clothing. Independent living is difficult at this point, but the person may still remember names of close family, respond to familiar music or routines, and participate in simple conversations. Emotionally, this can be a heartbreaking stage for the individual and their loved ones. Care becomes more than physical. It's deeply emotional. Compassion, patience, and presence matter more than ever. Stage 6. Severe cognitive decline, late-stage dementia. This is where the disease becomes truly devastating. The person may forget the names of spouses or children, have difficulty speaking coherently, or lose control of physical movements. They may wander, become paranoid, or experience hallucinations. Supervision becomes constant. Eating, dressing, and personal care require full assistance. But, and this is important, they still feel. They can feel love. They can feel fear. They can feel warmth. A gentle touch, music, a favorite scent, these things can still reach them. Stage 7. Very severe cognitive decline, final stage. This final stage often involves complete dependency. The person may lose the ability to speak, no longer recognize anyone, be unable to swallow or control movement. At this point, care shifts toward comfort, pain management, dignity, peace. To watch someone you love reach this stage is one of life's hardest experiences. But even here, your presence matters. Your voice, your hand, your love. Because while the mind may be slipping away, the soul is still there. These 7 stages are not meant to scare you. They're here to inform you. Because if you recognize the signs early, if you act in stage 2 or 3, you might be able to stop or slow this journey. And that's worth everything. In our next section, we'll explore how brain degeneration begins, long before symptoms appear, and what we can do to stop it. Stay with me. The next part is crucial. Part 3. The brain's slow decline. Before you notice a thing, approximate 1,000 words. Before there's forgetfulness, before there's confusion or lost words, something silent begins happening in the brain. This process is what makes dementia so tricky and dangerous. Because when we finally see the symptoms, the damage has already begun. Let's zoom in and explore what happens before memory loss shows up. This part is essential because this is where prevention still works. The first signs. Subtle and easy to miss. Imagine the brain like a battery. In youth, it's full of charge, able to power through stress, emotions, memory tasks, decision-making. But over time, that charge begins to drain. And long before the lights flicker, something inside begins to fade. The earliest sign? Mental fatigue. You might notice. You need more coffee or naps to stay mentally alert. You can't focus as long as you used to. Reading or learning something new feels harder. This isn't a memory problem yet. It's an energy problem. Your brain struggling to maintain stamina. And this is not just aging. It's a sign that your brain cells are having trouble producing energy. That's a red flag. The cellular decline. When brain cells lose their spark. Every cell in your body produces energy. But brain cells are especially demanding. They require a constant flow of oxygen and glucose to fire signals, process thoughts, regulate mood, and maintain memory. In the early stages of degeneration, mitochondria, your cell's power plants, begin to weaken. Inflammation creeps in, disrupting energy production. Toxins from processed foods, stress, or lack of sleep cause subtle damage. It doesn't cause pain. You won't feel it. But slowly, brain cells begin to underperform. If this process continues, cells begin to die. And once enough brain cells are gone, that's when symptoms appear. Before memory loss, the hidden changes in behavior. One of the earliest outward signs of decline isn't forgetfulness. It's a change in posture and movement. Pay attention to subtle tremors in your hands or legs, a less swinging in your arms when you walk, slouched posture or difficulty standing up straight. These might seem like back or joint issues, but often they're signals that your brain is losing coordination and motor control. Another sign? Changes in handwriting. If your handwriting becomes smaller, more cramped, or harder to read, that's something neurologists call micrographia. And it often shows up in early Parkinson's or dementia cases. What's happening here isn't muscle-related. It's about your brain losing fine motor control. And that's why catching these early physical signs can be life-saving. The nose knows. Loss of smell as a warning sign. One of the earliest symptoms of Alzheimer's isn't memory loss. It's losing your sense of smell. Smell is directly wired to the brain's memory center, the hippocampus. So when you suddenly struggle to detect the scent of food, flowers, or body products, or you notice things smell off or less intense than before, that could be an early indicator of brain cell loss in smell processing areas. Doctors sometimes use smell tests to detect early dementia in patients even before memory symptoms begin. Mood and sleep changes, what they really mean. Do you feel more irritable? Less joy from things you once loved? Chronically tired, even after sleeping? These aren't just emotional states. Your brain regulates all of them. When your brain begins to falter, so does your production of dopamine and serotonin, your feel-good chemicals. And when those drop, people often stop exercising, eat worse, sleep less. And here's the cruel cycle. Each of those things further damages the brain. This loop is how early brain decline accelerates quickly into cognitive impairment. But if you notice it early, you can break the loop. The use it or lose it principle. Here's the heart of the problem. If you don't use your brain actively, you begin to lose it. Brain cells survive by firing. If you don't engage them through movement, decision-making, new experiences, they begin to atrophy. Studies show that over 90% of the brain stimulation comes from movement, not puzzles or apps. Real, physical movement. Walking, reaching, stretching, dancing. When you sit for hours without movement, blood flow to the brain slows. Oxygen drops, and the brain begins to decline. So the most powerful way to protect your brain is simple: move. Daily. With purpose. It's not a trick. It's biology. So what can you do? Start by observing the subtle signs in yourself or your loved ones. Is your handwriting changing? Are you losing your sense of smell? Are you relying more on caffeine to stay alert? Has your posture or coordination changed? These are not just aging. They are signals. Your brain is telling you something. Listen early, because that's when the window for change is wide open. In the next section, we'll talk about the most powerful tools and habits you can use to protect and even strengthen your brain. If you've made it this far, thank you. You're already doing more than most people ever will. Stay tuned. We're not done yet. Part 4. What happens inside the brain? Let's talk about something that gives us hope. Action. Because while dementia is a devastating condition, there is real science showing that lifestyle changes can slow it, prevent it, and sometimes even reverse early signs. It all comes down to creating an environment where your brain can heal, grow, and thrive. 1. Move your body every single day. The most powerful brain booster isn't a pill. It's movement. Daily exercise improves blood flow to the brain, increases oxygen delivery, and stimulates the production of neurotrophic factors, chemicals that support brain cell growth and survival. Start with 30 minutes of walking daily, light strength training 2 to 3 times per week, stretching or yoga to improve coordination and flexibility. Remember, you're not just exercising your body, you're feeding your brain. 2. Feed your brain right. The brain is only as strong as what you feed it. The Mediterranean diet, rich in vegetables, healthy fats, nuts, and lean protein, has been shown to reduce cognitive decline. Avoid processed sugar linked to inflammation and insulin resistance. Trans fats harmful to brain cells. High-sodium processed foods damaging to blood vessels. Instead, focus on leafy greens, berries, especially blueberries, fatty fish like salmon, olive oil, nuts and seeds. These foods are anti-inflammatory and full of antioxidants that nourish the brain. 3. Sleep. Your brain's housekeeper. When you sleep, your brain literally cleans itself. A system called the glymphatic system removes toxins that build up during the day. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of deep, uninterrupted sleep per night, your brain is suffering. Tips for better sleep. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Limit screen time an hour before bed. Avoid heavy meals or alcohol at night. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Treat sleep as non-negotiable, because it is. 4. Stimulate your brain in real life. Puzzles and apps can help. Sure, but real-life stimulation is even better. Learn a new skill or hobby. Travel to a new place, even if it's just a neighborhood you've never explored. Have meaningful conversations. Take a different route home. Break the routine. Novelty challenges your brain to grow new pathways. It's how we stay sharp. 5. Manage stress. Protect memory. Chronic stress floods the brain with cortisol, a hormone that shrinks the memory center of the brain, the hippocampus. It's not just unpleasant. It's damaging. Simple stress reducers. Daily deep breathing or meditation. Spending time in nature. Journaling or prayer. Laughter with loved ones. Even 10 minutes a day can change your brain chemistry. 6. Prioritize social connection. One of the strongest predictors of cognitive health is not diet or exercise. It's connection. Loneliness and isolation increase your risk of dementia significantly. So, join a club or group. Call or visit family and friends regularly. Volunteer or take a class. Stay connected. Your brain needs community to thrive. 7. Know your numbers. Monitor your health. Conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity directly harm the brain. See your doctor and track blood sugar, A1C, blood pressure, cholesterol. Keep inflammation low and circulation strong. A healthy body supports a healthy brain. Small daily steps, big lifelong results. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Start where you are. Take one of these strategies and apply it today. Because what you do today shapes who you are tomorrow. And protecting your brain is one of the most important acts of self-care you'll ever make. In our final part, we'll look at the emotional cost of dementia and how families can face this challenge together with strength, clarity, and compassion. Stay with us. You're doing something powerful just by being here. Part 5. Use it or lose it. The brain's golden rule. Let's now talk about the human side of dementia, the part that doesn't show up on MRIs or blood tests, but cuts the deepest. Because dementia doesn't just affect one person. It ripples outward, affecting spouses, children, friends, caregivers, entire families. And often, it hits emotionally long before it hits medically. 1. Grieving while they're still here. One of the hardest parts of dementia is a kind of grief that has no name. The person you love is still physically present, but emotionally and mentally, they're slowly fading. This is called ambiguous loss. There's no clear moment when everything changes. It's a series of tiny disappearances. They forget a story you've told together. They stop recognizing old friends. They look at you and don't know your name. This kind of loss is confusing and painful, and it's okay to feel angry, sad, frustrated. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you human. 2. The burden of responsibility. Often, family members become caregivers without any preparation. You didn't train for this. You didn't sign up for this. And yet, here you are managing medications, doctor visits, safety, finances, daily care. Many caregivers describe it as a full-time job with no breaks. And studies show that caregiver burnout is very real. It can lead to depression, illness, and even shorten lifespan. If this is you, please know you are not alone. There are resources. There is support. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. 3. Guilt, doubt, and decision fatigue. As dementia progresses, hard decisions come fast. Do we bring in outside help? Is it time for memory care? Are we doing the right thing? And then the guilt kicks in. What if I'd caught it earlier? Did I do enough? Should I have been more patient? Please hear this. There is no perfect way to walk this road. You're doing your best with what you have, and that's enough. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Ask for help when you need it. 4. Staying connected, even as memory fades. Even as memory slips away, emotional connection often lingers. Holding hands, music from their youth, a familiar scent, the tone of your voice. These small things matter. They create moments of peace and recognition. So don't stop talking. Don't stop visiting. Don't assume nothing gets through. Even when they can't remember, they can still feel. 5. Preparing for the end with compassion. As dementia reaches its final stages, emotions intensify. There may be fear, confusion, pain. And for family members, watching this can be heartbreaking. This is the time for gentle presence. Sit quietly with them. Hold their hand. Play calming music. Speak simply, kindly. It's not about fixing anymore. It's about comforting. And if possible, talk about end-of-life wishes early, while communication is still possible. This can bring peace later, for everyone. 6. What families need most. More than medical advice, families need support groups, to share and listen. Respite care, to rest and recharge. Empathy from friends. Even a kind text goes a long way. If you know someone caring for a loved one with dementia, reach out. Ask how they're doing. Offer help. Be there. Your presence matters more than you know. 7. Healing, even after loss. When a loved one with dementia passes, the grief is complicated. You may feel relief. You may feel emptiness. You may feel guilt that you didn't do more. All of this is normal. But over time, you can begin to heal. You can hold onto the memories from before the illness. You can cherish the small moments that still shine through. And you can share your story to help others feel less alone. Because one of the most powerful things we can do is turn pain into compassion and love into legacy. Final thoughts, a message of hope. Dementia is a hard road. There's no way around that. But it's also a road that we can walk together, with knowledge, with compassion, and with a deep belief that every stage of life has meaning. If you're watching this, you care. And that matters. Please take a moment to share this video with someone who might need it. And if you found comfort or clarity here, let us know in the comments. And remember, while dementia may steal memories, it can't erase love. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay connected. You are not alone. Part 6. What you can do right now. If you or someone you love is noticing changes, here are steps you can take starting today. White heavy check mark, move your body daily. Walking, stretching, dancing, even light chores. Movement sends life to the brain. White heavy check mark, eat real food. Cut out processed sugars. And focus on healthy fats like olive oil, nuts, and avocados. White heavy check mark, prioritize sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Deep sleep helps clean out brain toxins. White heavy check mark, stimulate your mind. Learn a new skill, play an instrument, have real conversations. White heavy check mark, strengthen connections. Loneliness is toxic to the brain. Call a friend, join a group, share a meal. White heavy check mark, correct posture and breathing. Stand tall, breathe deeply, stay alert. And finally, don't wait. The earlier you act, the more powerful the results. Underscore 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 underscore. Part 7. A final message from the heart. Dementia is not just a medical condition. It's a human experience that affects entire families. And while some factors are out of our control, genetics, aging, the unknown, many of the most powerful tools are already in your hands. The moment to act is before the diagnosis. When memory slips, when posture changes, when your spark begins to dim, that's the time to wake up and take action. Because every day you move, nourish, and challenge your brain, you're keeping the light on. You're preserving identity, dignity, joy. You're giving yourself and the people who love you more time. So take care of your brain. It's the only one you've got. If this video helped you, please share it. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. You never know whose life it might save. Thank you for watching. Stay sharp. Stay kind. Stay alive.